Hello, my name is Sonali, and I welcome you all to a new episode of Around the World in 7 Days. In most of our earlier episodes, we have focused on the geopolitics of Asia, Europe, Africa, America, Latin America, etc. But today, we will take a look at a region which usually gets a lot of attention during the climate change related discussions, but is otherwise not a geopolitical hotspot. In today's episode, we will talk about the Arctic region and the Arctic Council. You might have heard of or read about the Arctic Council. There are 8 member countries of this council, and all these countries are from the continents of North America and the Europe. However, in 2013, the Arctic Council admitted 5 Asia-Pacific countries to the organization as observers. These countries were India, China, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea. The move marked a turning point in the ongoing internationalization of Arctic affairs as the governments of member states, including those in Asia, formally recognized the emerging economic and scientific as well as strategic importance of the region. You might be wondering, why did we choose to discuss a relatively cold topic from all burning geopolitical issues? Actually, it has been 10 years since the countries of Asia Pacific joined the Arctic Council. The main objective of this move was to overcome the challenges impairing the Asia-Arctic diplomacy. But the recent observations are a testimony to the fact that the countries of the Council have not been active enough and they have failed to make it a big success. The tug of war between Russia and the Western world has further added to this. This brings us to a very obvious question, that what are the major constraints in Asia-Arctic diplomacy? The question also pertains to the seriousness of the Asian countries about the Council. We will gradually get to all these questions. We will also try to understand the reasons for sudden increase in interest of countries in the Arctic region. But first, let's talk a bit about the Arctic region and the Arctic Council. The Arctic is a polar region located in the northernmost part of the Earth. The land here remains covered with ice and snow for most part of the year. The Arctic region includes the Arctic Ocean, adjacent seas, Canada, Finland, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Russia, Sweden and Alaska, which is technically a part of USA. The Arctic Council is an intergovernmental forum. Its purpose is to enhance cooperation and coordination among the Arctic countries, Arctic Aboriginal people and other Arctic inhabitants towards sustainable development and environmental protection in the Arctic region. It was established in the year 1996 by the Ottawa Declaration. The Council consists of 8 circumpolar countries as member states, which include Canada, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Russian Federation, Sweden, and the United States of America. The Council has taken the lead in protecting the Arctic environment and advancing the economy and socio-cultural well-being of Aboriginal people. The Council serves as a consensus-based body to address issues such as changes in biodiversity, melting sea ice, plastic pollution, and black carbon. If we talk about environment of the Arctic region, the climate here is immensely harsh and the extremely low temperatures are unfavorable for human settlements. I mean permanent human settlements. This has hindered the development and exploitation of natural resources in the region for a long time. However, the worsening climate crisis is turning into a blessing in disguise for this region. This area, which was almost deserted till now, is getting populated rapidly. Actually, the global warming has led to the melting of vast swaths of polar ice and is still continuing to do so. This change has propelled all the countries of the world to make their presence felt in this region and to get access to their share of resources worth tens of trillions of dollars. The Arctic has fish to feed the world's growing population and vast reserves of fossil fuels to use. According to an estimate of the total undiscovered natural oil and gas reserves, let me re-emphasize the word undiscovered for you. According to an estimate, 22% of the world's undiscovered natural oil and gas reserves are in the Arctic region. This in itself is an indication of the future prospects of this region via energy resources. Also, in addition to other minerals, Greenland is estimated to have 25% of the world's rare earth metals. The use of rare earth metals in the futuristic technologies is not an unknown thing. All the countries are in a race to have access to as much rare earth metal as possible. And once the ice melts, these valuable mineral resources will be easily accessible. For these reasons, the whole world has shown interest in this area. So that was about the Arctic Council, the Arctic region, the importance of the region, and why many countries are interested in the region. Now from here onwards, we will shift our focus to the next question, and that is, what is the progress in Asia-Arctic diplomacy? Although the countries of the Asia-Pacific joined the Arctic Council barely a decade ago, making it not a very old association, yet diplomacy on this front needs special attention. Reason being, there are many challenges in this path. Most importantly, there is a wide political divide between Russia and the Western world. The matter intensified further after the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, as Russia has considerably increased its military presence in the Arctic. Western countries described it as a pressure tactic of Russia, and due to this tug of war, the Arctic Council has not been able to function properly. Talking about other problems plaguing the functioning of the Council, India and China are the only two Asian countries that talk about their interest in the Arctic region, and that too very infrequently. This can be understood from a very simple fact that after many years of abeyance, India released its first Arctic policy only in the year 2022. In it, India has sought to further develop its polar capabilities by linking Arctic studies to already long-running research in the Himalayan region, often referred to as the third pole. India has underlined the importance of both economic and human development in Arctic region and has also promoted the practice of yoga in the Arctic Circle Japan Forum as a way of uniting the peoples of the Arctic. Let us tell you that the Arctic Circle Japan Forum was established in the year 2013. The forum was conceptualized to provide a platform for non-Arctic countries to interact with Arctic governments and also with each other. China and India may not have been very active in the region, but Japan, on the other hand, has been very active. It has been contributing for a long time in many areas of advanced regional research. A Japanese icebreaker, whose details are not yet in the public domain, is scheduled to be deployed by 2026 in the Arctic. Tokyo is also aligning its broader foreign policy agenda with its Arctic involvement, in which it has sought a free and open Arctic, similar to what it has been asking for the Indo-Pacific. That is, free and open Arctic on the lines of free and open Indo-Pacific region. Japan also plans to revise its basic ocean policy of 2018 and Arctic policy of 2015 later this year. Japan's southwestern neighbor South Korea is also slowly moving forward in this direction. At a time when the Asia-Pacific is going through a turbulent phase and the countries are at the loggerheads to protect their interest in the region, with America, India and Japan on one side and China on the other. It will be interesting to see how politics will play out at the Arctic Council, as all these countries, that is India, China, Japan and America, are also the members of the Council. In such a situation, it remains to be seen whether the Arctic Asia diplomacy will achieve its goals or not. So that's all in today's episode. Let's note down the question based on today's story. Abundance of energy resources in the Arctic region can make it a new battleground of major powers of the world. Do you agree? Substantiate your views with examples.